Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to price your services as an agency owner and end up charging more over time. So most people are pricing wrong from the start. Pricing is not a fixed decision. It's a moving target that changes as your authority in the market grows. Most agency owners either underprice indefinitely because they don't understand the relationship between authority and pricing, or they try to charge too much too early and can't close deals. This doc covers exactly how to think about pricing correctly, how to structure it at different stages of your business, and the single most important billing change you can make once your authority is high enough. This is part of an ongoing series where I'm documenting my cold email campaigns and agency building in real time. If you're new here, my name is Dominic Schwantes. I'm the founder of Workflows, a B2B AI lead generation agency. I document everything I do in real time, the campaigns, the systems, and the results. What you'll find in this document is based on what actually works. It's not just some theory. So the scale of authority. The amount you can charge is determined by the level of authority you have in your market. Higher authority equals more money. That's the whole equation. The goal as a business owner is always to charge the maximum amount you can get someone to pay. The constraint isn't ambition, it's authority. Clients who can afford to pay a lot only work with service providers they perceive as high authority. If your authority is low, it's very difficult to convince a high value client to work with you regardless of how good your service actually is. Authority is made up of three things. The first is case studies and results. Quantifiable, measurable outcomes you've generated for clients. That can be revenue made, clients acquired, and calls booked. Actual numbers from real engagements. Number two is status. Who knows you, who talks about you, your social presence, your follower count, your reviews. Status is not vanity. In a B2B context, it functions as a trust signal. A prospect who searches your name and finds nothing is a much harder close than one who finds a YouTube channel, LinkedIn post, and positive mentions. And lastly, experience. Your ability to carry a conversation with authority. To have been in enough situations with enough clients that you've seen most problems before. Experience shows on a sales call. It's the difference between sounding consultative and sounding like you're reading from a script. As all of these three go up, your authority goes up. And as your authority goes up, your price ceiling goes up as well. You can't afford to charge a client money that doesn't exist in their cash flow. But among the clients who can afford to pay well, they're only working with the providers they perceive as the highest authority. Build authority to access that pool. Now for the pricing construction. Pricing exists on a spectrum from most advantageous to the client to most advantageous to you. As your authority increases, you shift your pricing further toward your end of the spectrum. Using a cold email agency as the example, here is what that spectrum looks like in practice. Level 1 is performance only. You do the work upfront and only get paid if results are generated. No payment unless the thing produces an outcome. This is the natural starting point when you have no proof and no status. The risk sits entirely on you, which is the only way to get clients to say yes when they have no reason to trust you yet. Level 2 is a tech fee plus cost per call booked. A small monthly retainer to cover costs, typically around $500, plus a per call fee of $200 to $400 for every call booked. This is the most common model for early stage cold email agencies. It's low enough friction that clients with a limited risk appetite will accept it, and it gives you recurring revenue. Level 3 is a retainer with a money back guarantee. A fixed monthly fee with a guaranteed result. If you don't deliver the promised number of calls, the client gets a refund. You collect money upfront but carry the risk of the guarantee. This requires enough authority to convince someone to hand over money before seeing any results. Level 4 is retainer with no guarantee. A fixed monthly fee with no refund provision. You're charging for the service, not the outcome. Getting clients to accept this requires a high level of authority because there's no safety net for them. And level 5 is quarterly billing only. Full payment for 3 months collected upfront. No monthly billing option. This is covered in detail in the next section because it changes everything about how your business operates. You start when your authority allows you to work your way up over time. That's not a limitation, it's just how every business works. You earn the right to charge more by building proof that you deserve it. The pricing level you can sell is not a reflection of what your service is worth in the abstract. It's a reflection of your current authority in the market. Build the authority and the pricing will follow. Churn is the biggest problem that nobody talks about enough. Before getting to quarterly billing, it's important to understand why churn is such a destructive problem at scale. For most B2B agencies selling to small businesses, their average churn sits around 15 to 20%. That means on average, roughly 1 in 5 clients leaves every month. This number is often higher for agencies working with smaller clients. The reason churn is so costly comes down to where the costs are concentrated in a client relationship. Acquisition costs money. Whether you're spending on outreach, content, or ads, getting a new client in the door has a cost in time and money. Onboarding is the most labor-intensive part of the relationship. Setting up systems, understanding the client's business, building the first campaigns, and coordinating everything for a new engagement. This is where the most work happens, and ongoing delivery is the easiest part. Once a client is set up and running, the work becomes a repeatable process. This is the low-cost phase of the relationship. Once a client churns in month 1 or 2, you've absorbed all the acquisition and onboarding cost and only recovered a fraction of it. Your effective margin on the client is terrible. If this happens consistently, your overall margin stays artificially low no matter how many clients you sign. This is why billing frequency is one of the highest leverage decisions in your agency. So the price switch of moving to quarterly billing. When your authority is high enough to pull it off, switch to quarterly billing. Collect the full quarter upfront. This single change has a larger impact on business stability and profitability than almost anything else you can do. Why it works? It locks in zero churn for months 2 and 3. The client has already paid for the full quarter upfront. Months 2 and 3, the period right after the costly acquisition and onboarding phase, are fully protected. That window is exactly where monthly billing loses you the most money, because clients who are going to churn almost always do it there. It front loads cash and makes cash flow predictable. Instead of waiting to see whether a client stays month to month, you know exactly what you're working with for the next 90 days. The business feels more stable because it is more stable. It dramatically improves return on ad spend. If your cost to acquire a client is $2,500 and you charge $2,500 per month, a client who churns after month 1 means you broke even at best after factoring in fulfillment costs. You may actually have lost money. If you charge quarterly, that same $2,500 cost to acquire now gets you $7,500 upfront. The economics are fundamentally different. It also filters for higher quality clients. A client who is willing to pay quarterly has a higher risk appetite and a longer time horizon. They understand that results take time. A client who refuses quarterly billing and insists on monthly is often signaling something. If this doesn't work in 30 days, I'm gone. That client is harder to work with, is more likely to churn, and lower margin when they do. Now, an important thing to note is quarterly billing means collecting the full amount upfront, not signing a quarterly contract and billing monthly. That defeats the purpose entirely because clients will stop paying mid-contract regardless of what they agreed to. The entire point is the cash in hand before the work begins. Now, when to make the switch? There's no precise authority threshold. The honest answer is to try it and see if people say yes. If they don't, dial it back. If they do, keep going. It's a test, it's not a cliff. You will reject some clients when you make this switch. Some people simply won't pay quarterly, and that's the point. The clients who stay are the ones that are worth having. Quarterly billing is not a premium pricing trick. It's a structural change that solves the churn problem at its roots, improves your cash position, and filters your client base toward people who are actually worth working with. The pricing progression in practice. Here's how this plays out over the life of an agency. When starting out, work on performance or a low friction tech fee plus per call model. The goal is to get clients, get results, and build proof. You're buying authority with risk. As you build case studies and status, move to a retainer with a guarantee. You're still carrying some of the risk, but you're collecting upfront. Your margin will improve. As your authority grows, remove the guarantee or reduce its aggressiveness. Now you're selling on reputation and results, not on risk reversal. When your authority is established, switch to quarterly billing only. Collect the full quarter upfront. Reject clients who won't pay on those terms. Your margin, your cash flow, and your client quality all improve simultaneously. So for the pricing checklist, you should be able to tick off every single item on this list. Does your pricing level match your current authority honestly? Is there a risk reversal in place if authority doesn't justify an upfront payment? Do you have case studies being documented and updated as results come in? Is your status being built through content and outreach in parallel? Is your churn rate tracked accurately, including early churns in the average? Are you introducing quarterly billing and testing as your authority grows? Are you collecting quarterly payments upfront and not billing monthly against a quarterly contract? Do you evaluate clients who refuse quarterly terms before accepting them? If you can tick off all those items, you're in the clear. So what this means for you. Pricing is not something you set once. It's something you raise deliberately as you build authority in your market. Build the proof, the status, and the experience. Move up the spectrum as you earn the right to. And when you get to the point where quarterly billing is possible, make the switch. It changes the feel of the entire business. So that's all I have for you today. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any new videos, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.